Hello, this is the screencast introducing our LCC Colorado Network Google site. I have a little agenda for my screencast. First, I want to explain why I think a site will be beneficial to our work as opposed to sharing via email or Google Docs. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the site, then I'm going to suggest 2 optional tasks for you to complete. So, back to the home page here. This site will be a common place to view a shared calendar. It's a place to record, to be a record of our discussions and meetings. It should also serve as a bulletin board of multimedia tools that support and capture our work. It will also be a virtual filing cabinet where we can store documents, and an interactive list. It'll give us an interactive list to keep track of tasks and task assignments. In addition to those functionalities, I think another important thing about a site is that you'll notice that the sharing functionality is the same as with a Google Doc. The nice thing about that is as we go through the site, you'll see that we can provide access to things like calendars, documents, photos, and all kinds of things without having to change the permissions on a lot of different documents or maintain a lot of folders like in a Google Docs folder. I think the benefit of that is that as maybe our network grows a little bit and more people need access to this, we don't have to be worried about sharing individual documents or getting people set up or trained on Google Docs, because this site should be kind of one-stop shopping. So with that said, we'll start the tour. I said it'll be a common place to view a shared calendar. So we'll click on calendar. You'll notice that I've linked it here and I've linked it over here in the navigation panel here. So here is our calendar. Again, it's relatively blank right now, but if we look ahead, we can see things like our grant proposal is due, and we have an Estes Park retreat. The nice thing about this, again, is that we don't have to set someone up with a Google Calendar account, and we don't have to go through the trouble of sharing a calendar. We can just give them access to the site and they can see it. The next page will be discussions and meetings. Oh, I should actually point out that this does allow you to go straight to Google Calendar, where you can manipulate this if you do have the permission to edit it, which I think everybody on the initial travel team does have. So discussions and meetings. This is a place where we can link our Google Docs, and again, instead of sharing individual documents or even setting people up with a folder, which still might be a good idea, I think the pertinent documents that we're working with regularly, we can create links here, and we've set those documents to be secured so that you can only access them with the link. And so by putting all the links here, anybody who can see this page has access, and we don't have to set them up with Google Docs accounts unless they want to and already have the use of that. Another thing we talked about was possibly putting kind of in the moment notes that people might want to pay attention to in the comments box here. So instead of cluttering email inboxes, we can just put comments here, and then when we have meetings or virtual meetings, we can just refer to items that have been added. I met with somebody in my district about the project yesterday, so I noted that here, and it's not something that I need to send a big email about or generate a document. So videos, photos, and notes from our work can go here. As far as editing those last 2 pages, I think probably suffices right now just to show you that they're there, and if people want help adding things to those pages, I'd certainly be happy to help, or maybe post a similar screencast on those pages. The filing cabinet page is a pretty self-explanatory page. The nice thing is you don't have to edit the page in order to download or add or upload files. So the functionality is pretty obvious here. This is how you add a file, this is how you view it, this is how you download. And so when Sarah sent out the park assessment intro PDF, I uploaded it here. So we can keep a filing cabinet of documents that work for the that we need for the project here. Finally, this is another page where you don't have to edit the actual page to interact with it. You can just click the Add Item button, and what you're doing then is just creating a list of tasks that you might assign to a person, describe, look at, was the problem solved, and then you can always go back and edit this and mark it complete. So again, fairly self-explanatory. Which brings us back to home. Oh, the final thing are the 2 optional tasks. Here's one. One optional task is to subscribe to site changes. You could go up to more actions and then click subscribe to site changes, and it will probably ask you for your email address, and then anytime somebody changes the site you would receive an email. Now, one benefit of the site is that we can share a lot of things without cluttering email boxes. But again, as the network maybe grows, this might be a place where we can give permissions to other people to work on this, and we can track the changes or know when we have to check it. The final possible task is to go to either the filing cabinet or the project management list and input one thing that will be important for you to complete, or you think for the team to complete, in the next 2 weeks. So that concludes the virtual tour of our LCC Colorado Network Google site.